The screenshot of my sister's text message glowed on my phone screen as I stood at Miami's cruise terminal, watching the celestial seas tower above the dock like a floating city. Sorry, Melanie, we had to remove you from the cruise list. It's $8,000 per person and we know things have been tight since your divorce. Maybe next year when you can afford it. I'd received it 3 days ago, after months of planning what was supposed to be our grandmother's 80th birthday celebration. The entire Morrison family, all 43 of them, would be sailing to the Caribbean for a week of luxury and family bonding. Everyone except me, apparently. Ma'am, you'll need to move along if you're not boarding, a port security officer said politely. I smiled, adjusting my simple sundress and worn canvas bag. I'm boarding, just taking it all in. He glanced at my outfit skeptically. The other passengers streaming past wore designer resort wear and wheeled Louis Vuitton luggage. I probably looked like I'd gotten lost on my way to the dollar store. My phone buzzed. Another family group text. This time from my brother Kevin, boarding now. Presidential suite deck is insane. Sorry you couldn't make it, Mel, we'll send pics. The irony wasn't lost on me. While they thought I was struggling to make ends meet after my divorce from Richard, I'd actually spent the last 3 years building something none of them could imagine. But when you're the youngest of 5 siblings, and the only one who didn't follow the traditional Morrison path of country clubs and corporate climbing, certain assumptions get made. Ticket and identification, please, the check-in agent requested as I approached the counter. I handed over my documents, watching her eyes widen slightly as she scanned them into the system. Oh, Ms. Morrison, I apologize. We weren't expecting, welcome aboard. She fumbled slightly, then recovered with professional grace. Would you prefer to board through the priority entrance? This is fine, I assured her. I like to see how most passengers experience the ship. She nodded, still looking flustered as she handed back my papers. Enjoy your cruise, Ms. Morrison. The crew has been notified of your arrival. I made my way up the gangway, joining the stream of excited passengers. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I could see my family already gathered on the Lido deck, champagne glasses in hand. My mother, dressed in her favorite St. John suit, was holding court near the pool. My sisters, Patricia and Jennifer, were taking selfies by the railing. Their husbands stood nearby, probably discussing their golf handicaps. Melanie? I turned to find my cousin Sarah staring at me, her mouth slightly open. What are you? How did you? Hi, Sarah. I gave her a quick hug. Beautiful day for a cruise, isn't it? But Patricia said you couldn't afford. She caught herself, face reddening. What a wonderful surprise. Everyone will be so happy to see you. I doubted that, but I kept my smile in place. Where is everyone gathering? The Lido deck. Patricia reserved a private section. You know how she is about these things. Sarah glanced at my outfit again. Do you have time to change first? I might have something you could borrow. I'm comfortable, thanks, I said, following her to the elevator. As we rode up, Sarah filled the silence with nervous chatter about the suite upgrades, the planned excursions, and how much everything cost. Kevin's suite alone is $15,000, can you imagine? Though I suppose it's worth it for Grandma's birthday. The elevator opened onto the Lido deck, and I could see my family's private section, a roped-off area with the best views and dedicated waitstaff. Patricia spotted me first, nearly dropping her mimosa. Melanie? She hurried over, her voice pitched high with false enthusiasm. What are you doing here? I thought, we discussed. You discussed, I corrected gently. You decided I couldn't afford it and uninvited me. Jennifer joined us, her expression cycling between shock and annoyance. How did you even get on board? This ship is completely sold out. I had a ticket, I said simply. Security, Patricia called to a nearby crew member. This person doesn't belong in our private area. The young man approached, looking uncomfortable. Is there a problem, ma'am? My sister isn't part of our group reservation, Patricia explained with exaggerated patience. She needs to be escorted to wherever her cabin is. What deck are you on, Melanie? 7? 8? Before I could answer, a crisp voice cut through the conversation. Ms. Morrison. Captain Andreas Volkov strode across the deck, his white uniform immaculate, his bearing military straight. The entire pool area seemed to pause as he approached our group. He stopped directly in front of me and saluted sharply. Admiral Morrison, welcome aboard your ship. It's an honor to have you sailing with us. The silence that followed was absolute. Even the splash of the pool seemed to pause. Patricia's mimosa glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the deck. Jennifer's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. Kevin, who had just arrived with our brothers Michael and David, stopped mid-step. "I'm sorry," Patricia's voice was barely a whisper. "Did you just say her ship?" Captain Volkov maintained his professional bearing, though I caught a glimmer of satisfaction in his eyes. "The Celestial Seas is flagship of the Morrison Cruise Line fleet. Ms. Morrison acquired the entire company 18 months ago." "Fleet?" Michael echoed faintly. 12 ships currently, I offered helpfully. 13 once the Celestial Dreams launches next spring." My mother pushed through the crowd, her face pale beneath her perfect makeup. "Melanie, what is he talking about?" I accepted a glass of champagne from a server who appeared at my elbow. "It's a bit of a long story. Should we sit?" "The Constellation deck would be more comfortable for this conversation," Captain Volkov suggested. "It's been prepared for your arrival, Admiral." "Admiral?" David finally found his voice. "Why does he keep calling you Admiral?" "Maritime tradition," I explained as we moved toward the elevator. "The owner of a shipping line holds the honorary rank of Admiral, though I also served 6 years in the Navy after college, so the title has dual meaning." "You were in the Navy?" Jennifer sputtered. "You said you were traveling." "I was, on naval vessels." The elevator opened onto the Constellation deck, the ship's most exclusive level. My family filed in behind me, stunned into silence. The Constellation deck was magnificent, a private oasis with panoramic views, infinity pools, and a personal staff. It was also completely off-limits to regular passengers, even those in the most expensive suites. "This entire deck," Kevin started, "is the owner's quarters," I confirmed, settling into a plush chair. "Though I usually stay in a regular cabin when I sail, I prefer to experience what our passengers do." "Our passengers?" Patricia's voice cracked. Captain Volkov excused himself after ensuring we had everything we needed. I waited until everyone was seated, or in Patricia's case, collapsed, before continuing. 3 years ago, after my divorce, you all assumed I was broke. Richard got the house, the cars, the visible assets. What you didn't know was that I got something much more valuable, my freedom and a settlement that included his shares in a struggling cruise company." I sipped my champagne, remembering those early days. Everyone thought Richard was brilliant for dumping worthless cruise shares on me. The industry was failing, ships were being scrapped, and Morrison Maritime was 6 months from bankruptcy. "Morrison Maritime," my mother repeated slowly. "That was Grandfather Morrison's company, the one that went under in the 90s. The one everyone said was a money pit." I nodded. Richard's family had acquired it for pennies during the liquidation, hoping to strip the assets, but I saw potential. Jennifer leaned forward. "But how?" "The cruise industry was dying, everyone said." "Everyone said a lot of things," I interrupted gently. "They said I was crazy for taking the shares instead of cash. They said I was delusional for thinking I could revive a dead company. They said I should just sell whatever was left and get a real job." My brother Michael, the investment banker, was doing calculations on his phone. "Morrison Cruise Line's current valuation is, oh my god." "The first year was rough," I admitted. "I liquidated everything I had left, convinced a few investors to take a chance, and bought our first ship, an old vessel everyone said was ready for scrap. We retrofitted it, renamed it Celestial Seas, and started with 3-day budget cruises." "This is the same ship?" Kevin looked around in amazement. "The same hull, completely reimagined. We positioned ourselves as affordable luxury, high-end experience at accessible prices. Within 6 months, we were booked solid. We used the profits to buy the second ship, then the third." "But why didn't you tell us?" My mother's voice was small, hurt. I met her eyes. "When would I have told you? When Patricia uninvited me from her anniversary party because I couldn't afford the country club minimum? When Jennifer suggested I sell my engagement ring to cover rent? When Kevin offered to loan me money but only if I agreed to work as his receptionist?" Each sibling flinched as I listed their moments. "Or maybe," I continued, "when you all decided I was too poor for Grandma's birthday cruise? When Patricia texted to uninvite me because $8,000 was too much for someone in my situation?" "We were trying to be considerate," Patricia protested weakly. "You were trying to hide me," I corrected. The poor sister who made bad choices, the embarrassment who couldn't keep her rich husband, the failure who wouldn't accept her place. Silence stretched across the deck. In the distance, passengers laughed and splashed in the public pools, unaware of the family drama playing out above them. "The Fortune article," David said suddenly, 6 months ago, about the mysterious woman who revived Morrison Maritime. That was you?" "They wanted to do a cover story." I shrugged. I declined. I had a company to run. Sarah, who had been silent until now, started laughing. It began as a giggle and grew into full-bodied laughter. "Oh my God," she gasped. "Patricia, remember last month? At the club? You were bragging about spending $8,000 on this cruise. And you literally said, what was it?" Poor Melanie could never understand this lifestyle. Patricia's face flushed deep red. "And Jennifer," Sarah continued, wiping tears from her eyes, "you told everyone Melanie was probably working at a grocery store." "I never said grocery store," Jennifer protested. "I said retail." "Actually," I interjected, "I do work in retail, maritime retail. We have gift shops on all 12 ships." My phone buzzed. Another family group text. This time from a cousin who hadn't made the trip. "Send pics of the presidential suites. Dying to see how the other half lives." I held up my phone. Should I tell them the other half owns the whole ship? "This is vindictive," Patricia snapped, finding her voice again. "You let us make fools of ourselves." "I let you show your true colors," I replied calmly. "Every assumption you made, every cruel comment, every time you excluded me, that was your choice. I just didn't correct you." "What do you want?" Kevin asked. "An apology? Groveling?" "I want nothing." I stood, smoothing my simple sundress. "I have everything I need. A successful company, a purpose, and the knowledge that I built it all without your approval or your help." Captain Volkov reappeared. "Admiral, your grandmother has arrived. Should I escort her to your quarters?" "Grandma's here?" I smiled. The first genuine warmth I'd felt all day. "Yes, please. And Captain, please ensure she has everything she needs for her birthday celebration." "Of course. The crew has been preparing for weeks. The fireworks alone." "Fireworks?" my mother interrupted. "A little birthday surprise," I said. "Grandma always loved fireworks." As the captain left, my family sat in stunned silence. Below us, the ship's horn sounded, signaling our departure from port. "So what now?" Michael asked. Should we leave?" "Why would you leave?" I asked, genuinely puzzled. "You're my family. You have your suites, your excursions, your whole planned week. Nothing's changed." "Everything's changed," Patricia whispered. "No," I corrected, "everything's been revealed. There's a difference." I moved toward the elevator. "Enjoy your cruise. The Constellation deck is available to you whenever you'd like. The staff has been instructed to provide anything you need." "Where are you going?" Jennifer called after me. "To see Grandma. She's the only one who never assumed I was a failure. She always said, 'Still waters run deep.' Melanie, let them underestimate you. It makes the victory sweeter." As the elevator doors closed, I heard Kevin say, "We uninvited her from her own ship. We uninvited her from her own ship." The rest of the cruise was an interesting study in family dynamics. My siblings alternated between trying to apologize and trying to pretend nothing had happened. Patricia suddenly remembered how she'd always believed in me. Jennifer discovered we'd always been best friends. Kevin insisted he'd been joking about the receptionist job. But it was Grandma who put it all in perspective. As we watched the sunset from my private deck, she patted my hand and said, "You know what the difference is between you and them, dear?" "What's that, Grandma?" "They inherited their worth. You built yours. And that, my darling girl, is why you'll always sail while they just float." The ship cut through calm waters toward the setting sun, carrying 43 members of the Morrison family. But for the first time in my life, I wasn't just along for the ride. I was charting the course.